Here we go. SHAG. Ladies and gentlemen. So, who are you?
I'm a painter and designer from Southern California. I started working in the record industry in the late 80s, doing graphic design and illustrations for records. And then around 1995, I started doing my own art. So that means I've been doing it for 22 years.
So you've been studying to become a designer, actually.
Yes, I went to art school.
When and why Josh became SHAG?
Well, in 1987, I was in a band called the Swamp Zombies, and I did our album cover, but I thought it would seem unprofessional if people looked at it and saw that the guitar player also painted the album cover, so I had to think of a name, and I came up with SHAG, which is the last two letters of my first name, Josh, and the first two letters of my last name, Agel, A-G. I just put the S-H-A-G together, and that's it.
That's interesting. I didn't think about this. This is cool. So, what are your inspirations? What you're inspired?
I was inspired by advertising illustration from the 1950s and 1960s, old record covers, old animations, things like that, and also by drinking alcohol.
Oh, this is good. Well, a lot of mid-century modern and a lot of people, a lot of us know SHAG for his work in the tiki industry. So, why do you design a work made of tiki?
Well, I started going to tiki bars when I was about 21 in California with friends, and we weren't into tiki really, but we liked how it looked inside the bar, and if you paid an extra $5, you got to keep the tiki mug your drink came in. So we would go to the tiki bar and we would drink, and we would pay the $5 for the mug, and that would be our souvenir for the night. And we started collecting mugs like that, and from mugs I started collecting other tiki things and putting it into my artwork, and that's how I got into tiki.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, in all your designs and paintings, how do you think the tiki culture links to the mid-century modern?
Well, they're both from the same era. You know, mid-century modern starting late 40s, early 50s, tiki starting late 50s, early 60s, but they were both trying to take you out of the traditional and transport you to a different place, and I think that's how they fit together.
Oh yeah, that's good. So, well, talking about mid-century modern and art and furniture and whatever is linked, where is the real home of mid-century? Is this Italy, Sweden, or America?
Palm Springs, California.
Oh! Yeah, some would say Italy.
I love the
If you go
Italian.
to Milano, they would tell you it's Milano.
I love the Italian furniture designers, but it's hard to find.
Oh yeah, I know. And even if you go to Sweden, it's hard. Well, it's a bit easier to find stuff in Sweden, but some of that, like the Sputnik stuff, is still Italian.
Yeah.
So anyway, you've been working for any kind of project, merchandise, artists, the covers, paintings. What are the jobs you prefer and the ones that you really hate to do?
The jobs I prefer are when I get to do my own art and make a painting and put it in a gallery, because no one tells me what to paint. The ones I don't like is when somebody comes to me and they say, I want a painting, and I'm like, well, I don't know, and they offer me a whole bunch of money, and they say they want a family portrait, but they're all fat and ugly.
That's an interesting. Well, yeah, I can share the vision. Well, so tiki scene. What do you think about the modern tiki scene? How is it? You know, you participate to any tiki event. I've been, as an Italian, you know, I've participated only to the Tiki Oasis, and then all the friends. Probably next year I'll be able to go to some other. But how do you see the tiki scene? What do you think about it?
Well, in 1995, I thought the tiki scene was as big as it was ever going to be. That was, 22 years ago. But every year, more people got into it. In the year 2000, Tiki Oasis started, which is the world's biggest tiki convention. And I remember thinking, they had like 300 people the first time they did it. And I remember thinking, this is going to be the biggest tiki thing there ever has been. And now they do it every year, and they get about almost 4,000 people out. And they could get more if they were to move to a bigger place. So it continues to grow.
And it will arrive to Europe very soon. It's already arrived, of course, but I think there's going to be some sort of tiki explosion very soon over here. We arrived late, but you know, it is happening. It is happening. And what do you think about the surf scene?
You know, it's like the tide. It goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. Right now, it seems to be going up.
Well, yes, it's always up and down. You know, up in the '60s, down, then up again in the '80s, then down,
Up
and
in
up
the
again
90s.
after Pulp Fiction, then down again, and now probably is a bit more stable, but it's okay. Well, anyway, let's not waste any more time because I would like SHAG to talk about his book, which of course is available here. And it's the time to leave him completely the microphone, say something more about what is into this book. And then of course it will be available for any of your questions and anything you want to know about his work.
Okay. Thank you. Well, this is my newest book. It just came out this year, and I've got boxes of them available for sale if anybody wants a book. And I'm here to sign anything you want, as well as these books. I'm also in one of the bands that's playing tonight, the Huntington Cats, and I designed T-shirts and coasters and pins. Oh, there's some over on that table. You can buy those, and I'll sign those as well. This is probably the best book I've done because it has not just my artwork, but it also has pictures from my life, from my house, my family, things like that that haven't been in the other art books. And I guess if anybody has any questions, also feel free to ask, even right now.
Please.
Yes.
Anybody wants to know anything? Oh yes, yes.
Can you explain how you got into the Ramones?
The Ramones. Well, I loved the Ramones when I was a teenager. And I remember I went and saw them in 1980, and I remember thinking, how are these guys still together? You know, they formed in 1976, they've been together 4 years. I better go see them because they're going to break up soon. But they didn't, and I always loved that band. And about 3 years ago, I was asked to do a painting that was going in a gallery in New York. And I thought, well, I want to do a New York theme. And I just decided on the Ramones, which a band I'd always loved. It doesn't really fit into the SHAG world so much, but I felt like I could make it, I could mix SHAG and the Ramones and it would be successful. And it turned out very successful. People loved it. And in fact, Johnny Ramone's widow contacted me after I did that, and she invited me over to her and Johnny Ramone's house where, you know, Johnny Ramone had lived. And I got to visit with her and hang out and kind of got the grand tour. So she was even pleased with what I had done.
Questions?
If not, I'm going to come down and start signing
Yes.
things.
Anybody wants to know anything? Ah, yes,
I'll
yes.
sign the poster also for the.
Posters are on the stand. The posters are available at the stand, and of course SHAG can sign those also. He designed a fantastic poster for us. We've been so lucky at the Surfer Joe Summer Festival because we've been working with great people, and I think is one of the earliest works of Fred Lammers in surf music, the poster of the festival in 2008. And then we've done a fantastic job in 2015 with Steve Nazar, guy who designed the Town and Country stuff in the 80s. And I remember asking Steve, you have to do something like you were doing it in 1987. I want the fluo colors. And he did something that you could put on a shirt. So we still have also have the big thing. And this year, little because it's something we wanted to do since some time, and we felt it was to go more into a tiki oriented, to bring a bit more tiki to the Surfer Joe Summer Festival, and taking the chance that the Huntington Cats were coming, we asked SHAG to do a poster for us, and he did a fantastic job, incredible. So those posters are also available, and when we open the merchandise table, you can come and throughout the day, today, tomorrow, you'll be able to sign those too.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So I think you can come down. We're gonna set up the table here. The books are gonna be here. You can ask him personal questions. So whatever. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today with us.